We've all heard it, if you want to play fast, you have to play slow. Every guitar player preaches that. I mean, the man whose nickname is Hands Without Shadows, the man who promised you
the keys to the Lamborghini.
Mr. Michelangelo Badio says it himself as well.
The moral of the story is to be fast, you have to practice slow.
Who the hell am I to question that? Well, I admit, calling it a lie is definitely being sensational for the YouTube clicks because slow and steady is the proven gold standard. However, if you want to play fast or your goal is simply gaining speed on guitar, there is a crucial element that's missing from that method. And that missing element is why I believe so many guitarists get stuck. If I still have your attention, then I bet you know this line. You found a song or solo you like, you tried learning it, but there's this one part of song or solo that's very tricky and you just can't seem to get it. You watch many tutorials, you understand the technique, you get the method behind it. Hell, you've watched so many tutorials on it, you can probably explain how it's done to others, but you just can't play it at 100% speed yourself. Frustrating, right? You've tried slowing it down and incrementally speed it up the slow and steady way, but you're stuck at a benchmark no matter how many times you've repeated it. Why? Can my fingers just not move fast like one of those guys? Am I destined to never be fast? No, I don't believe that. I think with the right practicing method, everyone will be able to do something fast. Now, everyone's fast or speed cap will be different. So unless we're all given infinite amount of time to practice, I don't think we can all become Backcity or Bastion, this guy. But I do believe everyone will be able to play fast enough to enjoy some of their favorite tunes.
Okay, if slow and steady can't help me break the barrier, then well.
We're gonna get there, but before we do, I want to make one point very clear. Slow and steady is still very much a necessary step. It is true that you need to learn how to walk before you can learn how to run. However, let me ask you this. Will you ever be able to increase your sprint speed if all you do is jog? No. In many cases, slow and steady can and will help you make progress, but to break barriers, you need to incorporate more than just that. Just like in the running example, if you want to run faster but your training regimen only includes jogging, you're never gonna make progress. So here's the missing links, and I'm seeing more and more guitar educators on YouTube talk about this.
Speed bursts.
Speed bursts.
Speed bursts.
Speed bursts.
Burst speed practice.
Short, sharp bursts.
Chunking.
Fragmenting.
You heard it. Right now it seems that the predominant term is speed burst, but personally I like to call it burst chunking. More on that later. The funny thing is this concept isn't new at all. In fact, this is the very first thing Paul Gilbert taught in his very first guitar instructional VHS called Intense Rock, released in 1988. Obviously, he didn't give it a name, but the root concept is exactly the same. Take a very small chunk and play that chunk fast. And by small, I mean as little as 3 or 4 notes. And play it at your maximum speed right now. At first, it doesn't matter if it's clean or not. Even if you're just gonna spaz the heck out on the string, just do it. The purpose of this is to expose your body to performing a task at the max speed. Think about it. When a gymnast teaches you how to do a backflip, they start by breaking down each step you need to do. You practice those steps slowly at first, and then what's next? Gradually increase the speed until you can backflip? Hell no, you can't do a backflip slowly, so no matter how many times you repeat the slow steps, you will never do a backflip. A backflip just must be done with speed and momentum, it's just physics.
Oh, come on, guitar is an acrobat now.
Well, you're right, guitar is an acrobat, so physics won't apply here, but the concept still applies. If the action requires speed, then you must do it with speed so your body could be exposed to it and build muscle memory with speed. So after you got the basic slow steps down, you must do it at full speed to allow your body to feel and understand the momentum. Once you have that muscle memory, then you can learn to maneuver and make adjustment until you can do a backflip perfectly. In the end, learning how to play fast on guitar is just learning a new motor skill. The physiological learning process is the same across the board, regardless of what motor skill you're learning.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Why do I still sound like crap?
Well, remember earlier I said I prefer the term burst chunking over speed burst? That's why. Because whenever people hear play fast, speed, they tend to do that. Just mindlessly shred. If that's all you do, you will also not make any progress. Potentially, you may even pick up bad habits and just become a sloppy shredder in the future. So we don't want that.
What am I supposed to do?
I'll show you, let's go. Alright, let's go back to Paul Gilbert's very first lesson that I mentioned earlier. It's a super simple 4-note lick. 3 on one string and 1 on the next. So 12, 13, 15, and 12 on the E string. We have B, C, D, and E. So the reason why I designed this is for all the guitarists who want to play fast to drill one of the hardest tasks, which is changing string.
The hardest thing about alternate picking is when you have to go to the next string.
By the way, if you're new here, welcome to Baby Building Blocks, the most hands-on guitar learning program. Instead of lectures or modules, this program is filled with blocks, which are super short guitar songs written for you to practice one technique or sometimes as simple as one simple motion. So if you're struggling to play this, I've written a song that uses the exact same motion and divided it into 3 different difficulty levels so you can gradually work your way up until you can play that song. The mission of this program is very simple, trying to get you to play as much as possible, because no amount of you sitting there listening to me yap will ever make you a better player. That's why I like to offer play materials over lecture materials. If that sounds good to you and you're ready to play, hit that subscribe button and check out the link down in the description to learn more about this program. Now let's get back to the topic. Changing string is one of the hardest tasks for anyone who wants to play fast, because playing fast on one string is very easy. Frankly, I feel like you can grab anyone on the street, crank out the distortion for them and have them spaz out on one string, and just do something with their fretting hand, and they're shredding, right? But the facade is instantly gone the moment you have to play a phrase that runs across multiple strings. And I feel like that's the reason why Paul makes that the very first lesson. Obviously, you're not gonna just start out and start playing what Paul is doing in the video. I don't think a lot of us could do that when we were first starting out. I certainly did not. So what you need to do is isolate the chunk to the smallest piece but still include that difficult task. In this case, is changing string, like this. I'll do it again slowly. So we're really just gonna play that 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, and change string. So if you start with the down, down, up, down, you need to end with the up. Conversely, if you start with the up, down, up, you need to end with the down. So you need to be able to do that simple task quickly, also smoothly and cleanly. In my opinion, it's best that you can do both directions so you can get both outside picking and inside picking as well. And once you can do that, you can add 1 more note and return to the string that we started with. So down, up, down. So this time we'll end with the down if we started with the down pick. And if you're comfortable with that, then add 1 more note. Down, up, down, up. So if I play slow, it's ending with the up pick, and then when you play fast, it should also end with the up pick. Now you see, rinse and repeat, and then at the end you can try to link up the whole thing together and run what Paul Gilbert is doing. Like that. So that is a reason why this little 4-note lick is so revolutionary in that time. And also it demonstrates why burst chunking is so effective. Now just like I said earlier, the reason why I decided to call it burst chunking is because it emphasizes more on the fact that you need to take a very small chunk and burst through that tiny chunk. And speed burst, I feel like, just tells you to do something fast. And some people can take it the wrong way.
So what if I can't even play those 4 notes fast enough?
That's a great question, and this is also why burst chunking is so important and powerful. By doing this, you can actually start to expose the problems that you have and start diagnosing those problems. Just like in the running example, if all you do is jog, you can have the best runner or coach come here, but they will never be able to tell you what you're doing wrong that's holding you back from running faster, because they can't see it. So by bursting through these chunks, you can expose the problems that you have, start diagnosing it, and start fixing those problems. Maybe it's your left hand, maybe your dexterity and speed on your fretting hand fingers aren't fast enough. Maybe it's your right hand, maybe your picking technique is not good, maybe you're tensing too much, maybe you're using your arms too much, maybe you're not using your wrist. There's a variety of problems. It could be 2 hands problem, maybe it's a syncing problem. You know, everyone's problem is different, but only through actually doing it would you know what that problem is. That's why bursting small chunks is that important, because if you don't do it, I feel like you will just hit a wall, and no matter how much you do the slow and steady method, you will just always hit that point. You're never exposing your body to doing this at a speed to see what problems you have that's holding you back.
Okay, so does that mean I don't need slow and steady anymore?
No. Like I said before, slow and steady is still very much a necessary step. In my humble opinion, slow and steady and burst chunking are like yin and yang. One cannot exist without the other. So in this next video, I'm going to show you how I use both methods to learn this super difficult song.